Thank you, Anne. You're a new hero for me, and it's just crazy that we never really met until very recently. Simon, we go way back. I forgot about the Alexei Magarik underwear. That was awesome. And the hunger strike, it was a long time ago. I've known Simon. He's been an old-time hero for me. From the days, you don't know this about Simon, but Kurt Waldheim knew his name and despised him as Simon hounded him around the world as well. It's sort of weird. It's very weird to be here. Because I live in Israel, and I've been in exile from Jewish organizational life, and it takes a special magnetic pull to kind of come out of retirement in a sense, but it's for a great cause. Look, I'm here. The reason that you're here is not because of the award. It's because of the kids. It's because of the movement. Because of the impact, the multiple impacts that working together we can have for the Jewish people and ultimately for the world. I do want to really call out and say thank you to Hadassah. It's been a great partnership, and it changed my life forever, meaningfully. I probably would have just been in the Boy Scouts and I don't know what else. So I was a scholarship kid the whole way, and I'm happy to be repaying the dues over and over again, and to thank you. I certainly want to thank the organizing committee, Ariane, Jennifer, of course. Thanks for making the call. When I heard that David was taking over TY, it had this feeling of like relief and familiarity that you're doing it on behalf of all of us, and especially if we're going to be gifting our children to you to watch over them. That was great, and certainly now Simon coming, it's all coming home in many ways. I do want to say a couple words of substance, keenly aware that dessert is next. But since I have been away from Jewish organizational life for 6 years, you're stuck with it. The first thing I want to mention is, and it's amazing that this is, you can't see, it's a beautiful water print of Aleph coming in from the girls' bunks. And this one is actually particularly meaningful for me and for this story, not for the reasons you're thinking of. Spring Convention, I don't know if anybody was there, 1981. I was Hillel's age, 17. I was roped to go to, it was my first national convention. And I was like, I'm not going to buy into this cult. It really was about, like, all my friends were like crazy about it. And whatever, I got pulled in, probably because of the girls. And it was about values and vision. And I remember sitting in this very bunk, on the floor, in a circle. Julie Glass was next to me, I forget who else was there. And we're just having one of those sichot. It just hit me like a lightning bolt, and it has been sort of my defining philosophy for everything that I've been privileged to attempt to do. Not everything succeeds, by the way, but everything I've been attempted to do. And Hillel, I'm relaying this to you because I don't even think I've ever told you this. But this is what I got from National Convention in this bunk. And that is, values are what you live by. Vision is what you live towards. And the act of leadership is such a simple, basic act of living your values towards your vision. Because nobody does that. And anybody can do it. And I was 17 and bam! Like it's like saying Shazam, and all of a sudden, and everywhere I go, and it's been, I don't know, 40-something countries at this point. There's been so many different movements. It all relates back to the girls' bunk and that convention. It's unbelievable how powerful it is. The second is just as a Jewish educator, in a sense. If you come to Tirzu, you'll see there are Jewish value stations all along the field, and you're all invited. And there's like source text, and you can do a whole pu'ula there. It's like an 80 dunam like Jewish educational canvas because of Yom Judea. But I do want to mention, since Simon, welcome aboard, just Jewish peoplehood. It's been like the new buzzword, but I think it's something that Young Judea always embodied. It's not like a new thing for us because we've been a pluralistic, Zionist youth movement. And I want to share with you my mission statement for the Jewish people, which will hopefully continue to influence your work, because I feel like I'm just gifting back what I learned. And that is the purpose of the Jewish people in the 21st century is what I think it's always been, but especially now, it is to be an ongoing, distinctive catalyst for the advancement and evolution of morality and civilization. Ongoing because even though I was never got my applause for great. You can't put it on a t-shirt, which is a problem. It's like it's too long. Ongoing because I'm not a messiness, although I was the last Mount Lubavitcher with the Rebbe. Catalyst because we're a small people. We're a small people. We ourselves can't build 1,000 youth villages in Africa, but if you build the best one, it will be a catalyst for other people to replicate it. Distinctive, and this is where I would encourage the movement actually to be, I would say, moral archaeologists. Like, our values, it's all about our values. And then you can, on the one hand, say, oh, Christian values, Western liberal values, Jewish values, it's all the same and the whole thing. And I want to put a stop to that. I think we actually need to now talk about what distinguishes our values and how we express those values. It goes to what Simon was talking about. I think it's about action. It's not about belief. And it's a longer conversation. Catalyst for the advancement and evolution of morality and civilization is just a really PC way of saying Or Goyim without the elitism associated with it. But what I learned is that I was doing Jewish education for 20, 30 years, and I had this convoluted mission statement which only young Judeans would applaud for. And then I'm doing solar energy, and I say to people, oh, the purpose of Jewish people is to be a renewable light to the nations. And people go crazy for that. Like that one they get through solar energy, not the Jewish educational thing, but both are needed. I want to give a different spin on why I think camp is special. As someone who's been living in Israel and actually sent Hallel from Israel, from Torah even, right? The Judea kibbutz to Tel Yehudah. And it's counterintuitive. And I have stopped using the word diaspora, and I want to advocate to stop using the word diaspora. Not that Israel isn't the homeland, it isn't special, it isn't the holiness and all of that stuff. I read the Zionist idea and I fought with Mal and did all those things just like all of you guys, but I think it's actually harmful. What I want to advocate is a new paradigm, and this is why Tel Yehudah should really, why it's, I think, important to me on a spiritual and ideological basis, and maybe it's important to you this way, but it hasn't been articulated. And that is that there's this notion of exile, of galut, and suspending exile. And I think when we're living fully Jewish values-infused lives, we suspend exile. And so when you're in Tel Yehudah doing Kabbalat Shabbat, right, you have suspended the state of exile. And as someone who lives in Israel, I've been in places where there's a void of Jewish values, and that's exile. And so the paradigm has to completely change over, where places like Torah or certain, or wherever Jewish values come alive, whether it's here, there, anywhere, but especially camp, that's where God's Spirit dwells. That's where we live who we are, and that's why I sent my kids to Tel Yehudah and to Sprout Lake from Israel. The fact that you guys named it Tirzu is so humbling. I remember the dance and the song, but what you don't know about Theodor Herzl blew my mind when I stumbled across it. When he had his vision for the state of the Jews, it was going to be powered completely on renewable energy. Wow, talk about a visionary, right? The whole idea then was on hydro, on the canal from the Mediterranean down. His vision, he had a clean energy vision that our future homeland was going to be green. Like green in terms of its energy profile. And so to essentially be there are many young Judeans involved in this, to be trying to living those values towards that vision is really, it's great to have the symmetry here. I do want to just call out Vina Gellerman, now Lapidus, who's not here, but she was my mazkira in Young Judea. And in a sense, it's all about the role modeling, right? It's all about that. She had the clipboard. She had the values. Her mother was the president of, Hadassah at one point. And I had the fortune of being her boyfriend at the time of Maskirut. And I got to just, wow, that's like a young Judean. Like, they get things done, they have their values. Like, it really changed my life. And because of Rena, I signed up for the cult year course, which I vowed I would never do. And because of Rena, I signed up for Section 1 to Kibbutz Keturah. And because of Rena and because of this whole thing, I bring my family to Kibbutz Keturah 25 years later to live, and then end up founding with some other young Judeans and our Young Judea Kibbutz, the solar energy for Israel. It's all mind-boggling, these connections. And then now to have someone like Anne and Seth as a bridge to bring those values to life, not only in Israel, but hopefully throughout the world. What a privilege. What a privilege. I should just, David, here, take this award. Thank you. Simon, take this award back. What a privilege. Thank you for this journey. And so, it's weird being in the setting. Like, I'm much more comfortable in the Beit Am, which is where I learned about, by the way, Ethiopian Jewry. The role of the movement in Ethiopian Jewry was even more instrumental than it was in Soviet Jewry. And that story at one point needs to be celebrated and told. And the fact that I have 2 kids that were born in Ethiopia, direct relationship to, I don't know, Eli Rockowitz doing a slideshow in the Beit Am when I'm like, 15 or 16 years old and going, they're black Jews. Like, it's completely transformative. And so it's a bit uncomfortable being in this setting when we'd rather all be in the Chadarov or the Beit Am or in a gazebo. And if you're not looking to spray paint our names up there. But in the spirit of this complete wacky, I just can't believe the journey. And thank you for acknowledging the journey. Let's just sing together the first part of Ani Ve'ata. Ani Ve'ata Neshaneh